Oh, good. Testing this phone out, trying to see how it's gonna work. Apparently it works well. um, you know, when you have an idea and it doesn't seem to work out, that's been a lot of things lately. You know, you have hopes and they don't get met. You don't have ideas and they don't work out the way you imagine. You have plans and they fall apart. You wonder, you know, is it you? Is something wrong with you? Is it something wrong with the methodology? Is it something wrong with the mindset? It can be that too. Sometimes it's just timing. I'm kind of in a in between point. I know it can't be just me. It's like I know there's something coming up next. I don't know what it is. And for one of the few times in the last several years, I'm okay with not knowing what's next in its entirety or much at all. But at the same time, right now, the in between, it's such a battlefield. Like, on the one hand, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the graduation. I'm hopeful for the breakthroughs that will hopefully finally happen in certain areas of my life. I'm hopeful for breakthroughs in the lives of those around me. I'm thankful too because there are some really close friends of mine. Some may even end up watching this. I don't know. Maybe nobody will watch this. Um, and I've seen God just radically just move in their lives and over the past few weeks or past few months or even over the year. And it's just like, man, like, it's awesome. Easy to in the moment, in the heat of the moment, when you're dwelling on the things that aren't going well in your life and you're comparing it to others. I've been going through a devotion about that, which has been helpful. To not compare, to just be there. Out of reach. Um, just be there. Celebrate with them. You know, if someone gets a job or an internship or they have a breakthrough in their family or they have a breakthrough in their walk or they have a shift in their mindset that they've been just begging the Lord for years. Celebrate that. Enjoy that with them. Yeah, you've been praying for the same thing, for the breakthrough, for the shift, for the job, whatever. Be there. Because you know what you'll want? If the role was reversed, you'd want the same thing. You'd want someone to just be there. And for me, it's really easy to think that my breakthroughs don't matter, and certainly that my problems don't. But if I've learned that the more I respect and celebrate with the celebrations of others, well, sometimes I take it a little too far, mind you, but in general, I've learned if you're not comparing where you are with where someone else is when they have this moment, you realize that God is going to take me to that breakthrough too. I mean, He's the same. We read and we pray and we sing songs and we listen to music and we hear sermons and we talk one amongst each other among to others. We tell how good the Lord is and make it so conceptualized that we forget that He's real and in our lives and involved and in there, the good and the bad. He's there for all of it. He's there for any of it. He's right there when you're celebrating with them and when they're celebrating with you. I mean, there's a reason, you know, that in places like Philippians where he says, "Bear one another's burdens, share things with each other, comfort one another, edify one another, share burdens with one another." I mean, there's a reason why it's a running theme throughout the entire New Testament, certainly, and it goes back all the way through the Old, of just people working together to accomplish great things. I mean, yeah, King David was great, but if he didn't have those mighty men, he wouldn't have accomplished as much as he did. Certainly, if he didn't have the Lord. And Paul writes, we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works. Yeah. All right. It's it's been a minute, it's been a lot going on. A lot of little things. Nothing like, earth shattering. There's no, breakthrough sob story or anything like that. First upload didn't work at all. The Wi-Fi was acting up and all this stuff. So that's why the second one, it's just like bearing one another's burdens and edifying one another and having community is so important. And it's so easy to take for granted. If you have it, if you have your group of friends in person or even over the internet in groups or group chats or whatever the case may be for you, don't take it for granted because you'll have seasons where you don't have that. You'll have a friend here and a friend there, but you won't have that bond, and it'll just have to be you and the Lord and whoever He gives you in that season. It's the season I'm in. I'm thankful that the Lord has allowed me through all sorts of odd and even circumstances to have the friends that I do, whether I know them and met them in person or whether I only know you like this one. But it's reminded, it's important to have community. It's important to not isolate yourself because it's very, very easy to do that. Very easy to isolate yourself and to and the Lord is good. I Hi Janelle, hello. Hi friend. It's night. Good to see you. Um like I think if you'd asked me like 2 3 years ago, oh God, 2 or 3 years ago even, I'd be I'd be able to make a difference in people's lives 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles, 3,000 miles away through just talking, just sharing whatever random encouragement or lesson that God is teaching me or things that I'm struggling with. If you thought if you told me 2 or 3 years ago I'd actually make a tangible difference in people's lives I may never meet, even through this channel, I'd be laughing at you because at that point in my life, I was thinking this channel is for Bible studies and songs. That's all I thought it was going to be. I never thought people wanted to hear about my life. Like, I'm just, I'm just another person. I follow and keep up with YouTubers and things like that. They got big things. I'm just going to school, going to work, and but the Lord's opened a lot of things. He's closed a lot of things. And this is why it's called Random Live Stream Just a Chat, because I'm just kind of talking here. Um, Sometimes the doors close, and it's not fun. You think God's going to take you a certain direction, and then He doesn't. You think God's going to use your skill for a certain way, and He doesn't. And you just wonder, like, is that time wasted? You know, uh, about a year and a half ago. Has it even been that? If it's even been that long, I don't even think it's been a whole year. There's a group chat the Lord allowed me to be a part of on this app called GroupMe. I don't use the app anymore. It's kind of a mess, but I thought it would be such a huge connection and connect me to all these opportunities and all these people. I mean, they were some wonderful chats. Don't get me wrong. But I just kind of instead of adding to my life, and I don't know if it was, and I know it was a mixture of a lot of things, different people with different agendas and and me with different flaws that were definitely shown through my interactions. But it didn't become a group of people that added into my life. And for a long time, I was angry with myself about that because I'm like, I can't even keep up with people who know the Lord. All I wanted was a community of believers that were of similar age. And but you know what? I'm not upset with them anymore. I mean, most of them aren't really friends either anymore, which happens. Um, this this kind of thing happens. But the ones that are, well, besides the ones that were heading into it have stayed friends, which is honest. You know, that could have gone south. They could have gone south too. Some of my best friends and a couple of best friends have gained from it. People who've when a group chat dispersed as group chats apparently tend to do. I thought it was a unique experience, but apparently new group chats are known to do that. That was a sense of community. But I think I was seeking it for the wrong reasons. I felt like if I could attach myself to a group of people, then I can make a difference. I did that. It wasn't the first time I did. Um, this group of people, wonderful. Some of my best friends are still with them. It's called the Human Defense Initiative, and I was able to be on the ground floor of that for a little bit. Even wrote a couple articles, me writing. I don't know if they're still there, but that's okay too. And it was just another thing, just another. If I thought if I could be a part of something bigger than myself, then I'll make a difference. Because something I've struggled with for years, and as other struggles have faded into obscurity or melded or things, the constant thing I've dealt with is feeling like in and of myself that I'm not enough. And that goes back to a lot of things. That goes back to a lot of things. Um, but I always had to, that's why I joined the group. Why I joined. That's part of why I joined. Obviously, I always want to make a difference, and it's a worthy cause. to beavers. Honestly, most of my best friends are from those two. I mean, there's some people, some people that I gained just being there. What's going on right now? Okay. Sorry about that. Uh, but now, in 2019, but you know, came out of that the hopefully lifelong friendships that I've gained from it. I learned that I didn't. That those people stayed after I left both things, and put up with. Just, I could be a crappy friend sometimes. I could be a crappy person sometimes. I could let people down, or I could like. I'm great at miscommunicating. I'm fantastic at it. Um, especially earlier on in friendships. But they stayed and they stay and they stay and they reminded me of something that I forgot a long time ago. And they remind me still. I don't have to be a part of a group. It helps. And I'm sure when the Lord reveals what He has in store for me next, that it will end up having something to do with that because community is important to the Lord. These friends have taught me that the Lord is going to use me, myself, my flaws, my strengths, my weaknesses, the things I've used to struggle with, the things I do struggle with, the things I will struggle with. The, all the things, all the pieces that that Paul in writing about, that he who began a good work shall bring it to completion, and that all things will work together, and that sense. But I don't have to be anybody else. I can just be me. And that led to just the chats, and that led to quick thoughts, and to being more social medias that I regularly use, and that led to being more open in my friendships, and that led to this video, like just talking to whoever's willing to listen for however long this leads, and just being a person. I know it sounds so like dumb almost. Not dumb, that's not the right word. Again. But it sounds so like, well, duh. But for me, even as relatively not super young as I am, and as far along in the walk as I might be, year wise and ministry wise, it's something I'm learning like all over again. That's why, if nothing, if 20 necessarily ever, it's certainly been a growing one. Can't believe it's March already. Can't believe it's March already. That's crazy. But we made it, A lot of friendship. So yeah. The Lord is good. Thank you for those of you who took the time to watch it live, and for hopefully those that will watch it afterwards. I don't know if this would be another lesson learned. Another lesson learned for sure. Yeah, well, hopefully this won't take too long to upload, but I'll have another regular video soon. I'm not sure what direction I'm going yet, but I know that I'm not going to give up on this. I have before, and I have a feeling that the more consistent I am with it, God says that, in His Word, that you will reap if you faint not. So I can't faint at this anymore. Can't give up on it. Can't stop being consistent. I will have an upload schedule now that other things are smoothing out a little bit, and I have a phone again that I can use for this. I will have some sort of upload schedule, even if it's not necessarily a specific kind of video. I'm gonna have something where it's like, okay, you can expect a video every week, so that it's not always surprises like this one. I don't obviously will. It would be helpful to, and probably nobody will get to this part, but it'll be helpful to have like some sort of when would be the best time to watch. But obviously, if I'm consistent, the people will come to it. So, um, still learning this phone. You'll probably hear a bunch of notifications on the background because that this would override those, and it didn't. Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. Can't believe I'm graduating in a month and a half. That's just wild. Been here for 5 years. It's been a long time. And I'm excited to see what March brings. And I hope March brings you a good month too. If you're going through a bad time, if you're going through a season that seems dry, you're not alone, because I am too. I wouldn't say it's bad. Like, I've had worse. But I think there I am comparing again. Don't learn, do I? If you're going through a dry spell, just know that you're not the only one. And if you're not going through a dry spell, there's other people out there too. Everything Ecclesiastes is right. There's everything. There's a reason for every season. If there wasn't, God would bring us to it. I mean, David wrote about, in the same psalm, he wrote about being led through the valley of the shadow of death and having a table prepared in the face of enemies and a cup overflowing. In the same, so David understood it. And it's the same God leads him that's leading us, so He's just really good, you guys. So I'm going to cut this here. I love you all very much. I hope to see you all again soon. Dry seasons aren't the best, but this is another reminder that you are not alone. God's got you, and stay focused on Him.